A big hello and a warm welcome to all of you amazing and beautiful people out there on planet Earth. Welcome to the channel Twinflame Union. And this is the part 4 of the channeling session. Divine Masculine completely and wholeheartedly acknowledges Divine Feminine. Now, why this series is so important? I mean, all channelings are important, but this is for those people who are in the final stages of the twin flame journey. And I want to say this to all of you people, because you're so amazing. I get your energy, I get your vibe. Some of you are handling a lot of things, but this relationship that you have with the divine masculine has actually triggered emotions, it has triggered pain, it has triggered a lot of things that were hidden in the subconscious mind, in the subconscious area of your life, which is otherwise invisible. And in order to acknowledge you, in order to respect you, in order to know that whatever you were doing or whatever you did was out of the emotion of pure love. It was unconditional love that you have for him. And it's not that you have it because of his physical appearance or some kind of element, because this is like pure attraction. Even in terms of sexuality, this is called sacred sexuality. But because Divine Masculine is your mirror, so he will only reflect whatever happens within you. And in order to get that acknowledgement from the external world, the external reality, this energy of acknowledgement has to seep in, has to fill in your whole being from within. But there are certain blocks, and not certain, there are many blocks, many wounds actually, many deep wounds that have caused you to hold back yourself, to not be a person who wholeheartedly and completely acknowledges herself. So even though for the Divine Feminine, it's like even though she's a good person, and when I say good, now by now you should know that I mean authentic and real person. Let me use the word real and authentic. So even though she has been an authentic person, a real person, a truthful person. So truth is connected to reality, to real. Truth is the word actually. So even though she has been honest all her life, more so, especially in the childhood, she actually got abused in such ways, in different patterns, formats and styles, which involved a lot of abandonment, ignoring, because possibly she was not understood, because she was different, because she was sensitive, or she was an empath, or she was a starseed, or so on and so forth. She was not basically drawn to the materialistic side of world, even as a child. So these things are very, very visible and very, very obvious during childhood. Now, I know a lot of you don't understand Hindi, but there is a very interesting phrase that's coming to my mind right now. It's called पूत के पैर पालने से ही दिख जाते हैं, पालने में ही दिख जाते हैं, which means a child, a gifted child's gift or their goodness or their whatever talents they have, it can be seen right when they are in the crib. So palna means crib in English. So right when the baby is in the crib, you can know, you can find out that the baby has qualities or what type of qualities they have. Now this has to be discussed because not all children are same. Basically they are all children, but they can be molded in the children. In the childhood, how a child is treated and how a child is raised will create the most authentic form of child if they are raised properly in the correct way. But if not, then the ones who are supposed to do something for the planet, they will not do it. So in human design, we have different categories. Since some of you know about human design, I am a 5.2 projector. You guys can tell me what you are. So in human design, there are different types of people. You have manifestors, you have reflectors, you have manifesting generators, you have generators, and you have projectors. So all of these different type of people, and this is not based on superiority or inferiority. It is based on what are you here to do and what exactly is your type, what exactly is your category. based on that, you're going to do your work, you're going to do your duties. Now, I'm not here to sponsor or, like to talk about human design. In fact, the guy who created human design, Rahuru, he's not physically there anymore. But he was also trying to, put this thing into perspective that not all people are same, not all children are same, and therefore they have to be educated and they have to be treated differently. Now, in the age of ascension, this information can be of great use because the generators should help the projectors, the manifesting generators, should help the projectors. The projectors should be in a team environment with the manifestors, with the reflectors, so on and so forth. Now, again, I won't go too deep into it, but you guys can kind of check out and find out if you're a projector or a manifestor or a reflector or a generator or a manifesting generator. I think I said that before. Or you are simply a manifester. So these are the things that you can just find out. And then another thing that is important is what's like the number you have. So you can be a projector and then you can be 5.2 projector. It's something like that. So anyway, why I brought this into this conversation is again to tell you that if you were a different child, your feminine energies and your masculine energies went out of balance because of the way you were raised. So you have to heal the inner child. You have to heal all the wounds of the child, of your inner child, so that you come back into the balance of divine feminine and divine masculine. The reason why you're going through this phase of separation or being misunderstood is because you were always misunderstood. You were never really understood. So how can it, suddenly change now? But the great part is that because of the twin flame journey, because of this ascension journey, now you know that I don't agree with many of the things that have been given to me. I don't take them. That's not who I am. Who you are will become more and more clear to you because of the ascension journey. But you also have to have that urge and the desire to work on yourself, to be who you really are. You have to bring down people from the pedestal. You have to believe in self-love, not in a self-loathing way, but real self-love. You have to integrate with the source. You have to increase your faith. And for that, you have to go into these areas where your wounds are. And that can only happen via inner work. That can only happen via healing. That can only happen via therapy. So when you go deeper into the areas where you have the wounds, that's when you locate the actual problem when it started. In the childhood or the adolescence. Basically, this channeling is an amalgamation of the types of wounds that the divine feminines have gone through. They have it, and because of which there is separation. Now, as I said, parenting is number one. There are wounds right from the birth or when you are in the womb. For some people, it's like the mother doesn't want the child. So there's this constant denial of the child's presence. Even when she's pregnant, she keeps thinking, oh, I wish I didn't have this child. Oh, I wish it wasn't here, etc., etc. It could be also preference of gender. The mother wanted a son, but there is a daughter. Or the mother wanted the daughter, there's a son. Mostly, I don't know about Westerners, but in East, it used to happen that they only wanted the son. And these are the very, wrong concepts. Wrong concepts of birth, wrong concepts of conception, wrong concepts of birth control. All of these things have really created a big havoc. And as you can see, you all are also facing it now because you have to heal the wounded child, the wounded inner child. You can also pray to Goddess Kuan Yin. You can pray to Goddess Lakshmi, Saraswati, Durga for more power and energy. And obviously Ram is the most magical, most life-changing mantra that I have ever found in my entire life since birth till now. And I swear by it. I know what it can do and what it has done. But this is not for escapism. This journey is not for escapism, and its journey is not for being in a comfortable spot. You should never be in a comfortable spot actually. Then there were wounds given by wrong teachers, bad teachers, evil teachers, wrong coaches, or the child saw that the family was very enamored by people who have a look, like they would wear very religious clothes, or they will have very spiritual attire, and they would go after people who pretend to be spiritual, pretend to be religious, but in reality they could be pedophiles, or they could be just sick people, just very sick people. Or in their family, they would really go after status, or they would go after money. And the divine feminines are like not so materialistic, but they had to be, they were told that in order to be happy, you have to buy this, buy that, get that phone. If you don't have iPhone, you can't be happy. Or if you don't have so many diamonds, you cannot be happy. So she went into wrong relationships. The guys who were probably affluent, but they didn't have any spirituality in them. Or she was abused as a child, emotionally abused as a child. The father was never there. So she started attracting relationships where the role of a man was played by her. She was the one who was getting the bread and butter for the house, or she was paying all the bills, and she was, working very hard, while the boyfriend or the fiance or the husband was just chilling, and having a good time and not taking any responsibility. So these are various different types of abuses that she has gone through. Another abuse that has been coming out, because in this channeling I have been given words like orphan, words like comparison, words like teacher. Now comparison I did not cover in the previous parts, so I will cover it now. Now some of the divine feminines were all the time constantly compared with other people, whether it was other cousins, or it was other students in the school, or it was her own siblings or someone in the neighborhood. But the mother constantly kept comparing her, or the mother figure constantly kept comparing her with other kids. And what happens is there are two types of children. One who are simple, basic. Two who are a bit gifted. Those who can be musicians or artists or singers or dancers, or something more creative, because those people, they are probably the projectors in the human design theme. So what happens is that these children have to be treated differently. You cannot constantly compare them with other children. And this is not to say that other children are inferior or they are superior. I never mean to say that. In fact, in the previous channeling also, when I channeled the transgender teacher, I would like to say that I don't have anything against them, because they are as beautiful as a man and a woman, and that's why it's all the more important to accept ourselves. Sometimes these people who become teachers or authoritative figures, they were also abused in the childhood, or they were raised in such a way that their karma is too heavy. It cannot be resolved like the way we are doing inner work. Most of the people who are on planet Earth, they cannot be resolved by inner work. They have to face the karma. They have to go through it via diseases, via problems, via that, via this. Now, in case of volunteers, because this karma is taken up by them voluntarily, that's why they can heal it via inner work, because they can then find the root cause. And that's why I say that not everyone gets this type of life. Not everyone gets to be on the ascension journey. It's very few people, very special people, very lucky people who are getting to be on the ascension journey. And this ascension journey is also being given to those who fearlessly stepped into pain. They were told, they were warned by other people, by other souls, that don't go into this. It's going to be very hard. You have no experience of this. But they still did it for other people's save other people, or to help other people, or to share their pain. So that's why these things are very important. So what happened is that in this comparison, now I'm actually channeling many divine feminines who were children, and they were compared with siblings who were probably with ordinary talents. But because the mother was more connected to them, because obviously the feminine is a star seed, right? So there has to be a mismatch in the frequency. So what happened was, it was also the mother's protectiveness, because she could see that one child, or probably there are more than 3, 4, or it could be 1, 2, or maybe it could be stepchildren also. So maybe it is the stepmother who sees that this girl is very talented. It could be any talent. It could be, she could be a maths genius, she could be a science genius, or she could be really good in reciting stuff, or she could be very good in writing or painting or something, which made her stand out. But her ordinary child, again, this is not to condescend anyone, but the ordinary child was like not that gifted, and was facing problem in school, in scoring marks, or in even clearing the exams or things like that. And the other child never falls sick, but this child, the mother's own child, or the one with her frequency, with whom the frequency matches, they keep falling sick, whereas this one doesn't get sick. So there are many problems that even the mother is facing while raising the child, because she has no idea about the child. She doesn't know. She only feels that one child is constantly suffering, is weak in studies, is weak in health, is not able to deal with other people. There are so many things. So she pays more attention to the one that needs, according to her, needs more attention, whereas the other kid, who's probably the divine feminine, they don't get any attention. So these are the reasons why I always say that don't blame anyone, because you don't know what concepts they have and how much programming they have, and at the same time, in many cases, the mothers who cannot handle the divine feminine, they also put them with extra responsibilities, because the divine feminines are gifted. So she feels that, okay, she can take care of this. So there are extra responsibilities. And if she goofs up, then she will obviously shout on her, or beat her up, or slap her, or just keep telling her that you are no good, without seeing that the responsibilities, the extra responsibilities that have been given to her, should not even be given to a child, first of all, because the child has their own way, and all these people who are talented or gifted, they cannot function in pressure, they cannot function in stress, or they cannot be beaten up all the time and then still, be like everyone else. So every child is different, is what I would say. And every child, even the ordinary child, can have wounds. But the problem here is different. The problem is that they are getting a lot of love. If this was another scenario, then I would have said different things. But this is specifically for twin flame divine feminines. Okay, and this is to help them get back with the divine masculine. So in this channeling, I cannot talk about every child. So you have to understand. So even you should not make any comparisons. Understand the comparison was already made. And the result of this comparison is the lifestyle that you have. Now, in many cases, when the child is extraordinarily gifted, or is special, or is different than other children, then what happens is, because they see that no one is paying attention to me, everyone is paying attention to the one who is probably weak in studies, not doing so well, and very much low IQ than me, or whatever, because even children can figure out, then what happens is that they also want to be like them. They feel that maybe if I was not so good, maybe if I was not so good in studies, or maybe if I was not extra talented or gifted, then other people would have loved me in my house, So they sometimes also try to hide their gifts, and they try to hide their talents, because showing the gifts and possessing those gifts, having the light, having the shine, is actually putting them in more pain. And on top of that, not only that the mother is ignoring the child is also attracting abusers outside, in the form of teachers, in the form of, other children who are bullying them constantly. And bullying is another thing that has come out. In the wounded divine feminine, being bullied was also a part of this. So just imagine how many templates are there now to heal. At least 7 to 8 to 9 different templates are there to heal, with different types of situations playing out. It's not like she got slapped only once, or she got molested only once. Maybe it happened in different places or by different people. Or maybe there were different teachers who were extremely dominating, manipulative, and in plain simple words, evil by nature. They were not even deserving to be a teacher, but they were there at the wrong place just for the money and the perks of the job, basically. So the bestest way to do inner work is, first of all, you have to find the wounds. Secondly, you have to remain in solitude. You have to focus on your own self. Even if you're interacting with others, keep it to minimum. Keep your goals in your own mind, and if you face any problem, then talk to your angels, talk to your divine guides, talk to your guru. That is very, very important. Talk to the universe, talk to source, share them, cry with them. You may not see them. For you, they might be invisible right now, but they're all there with you. They only are waiting for your call, because they do not use anything or any plan against someone's will and wish. Free will is a very important concept with benevolent beings. They never do anything without another person's will and urge. That's why in this journey, our will and our urge to ascend is very, very important as well. Now, those of you who attracted a karmic situation, like your divine masculine left you for a karmic, is also a result of comparisons, because as a child you were compared to so many different girls and so many different people, so many other kids, that you always felt that the one who's getting the love or the affection or the attention is a better person. You probably did not even think that maybe the other one who's getting attention or love or whatever could be for some other reason. Maybe the divine masculine thought that the karmic was a better person to be with, karmic could be trusted more, or whatever XYZ. I mean, I'm not going to get into why this, why that. That does not even change anything, to be very honest. What will change is the fact that you're going to move on from the past in the way that whatever happened between you and the masculine is gone. It's passé. Now you have to write a fresh new chapter. You have to write a fresh new story. And to write a fresh new story, you need to have a clean slate. You need to have a clean notebook, a fresh new notebook. You cannot scribble on the old notes. And for that reason, you have to remove the old notes. You have to erase the old notes, the old stuff, which is there in your karmic baggage or karmic box. And like I said, you have to either investigate it yourself via inner work, or you have to get into therapy, or you have to get into healing. These are the only way, because a good therapist or a good healer will also put you into inner work, various techniques and tools. And one by one, like a detective, they would be investigating into your inner wounds and traumas. So I'm going to end this channeling here. This was the most intense channeling I have done, which has taken me so many days. And I personally also went into areas which I also had not visited. So I'm really thankful to the universe for actually choosing me for this work. And I'm very much thankful for all of you people who are here doing your inner work, because you are ascending planet Earth. You are increasing the vibration of planet Earth. And by healing your wounds, by healing your life's patterns, those patterns which needed healing, you're actually becoming a whole new, better person. You are becoming your natural self. And the moment you start becoming more and more and more you automatically start doing what you're here to do. You will be very clear about your mission. And this whole journey is actually connecting you with the mission. I have to say this, and I have said it before also, guys and girls. So once you are clear with the mission, that means that your inner work is actually going to a right direction. Before that, it is, or the urge for mission work. Bless you. That was my doggo. So the urge for mission work has to be very important, and that will come when you get deeper into your inner work zone, deeper into the basements, deeper into the boxes, searching wherever you have not gone to, wherever you have ignored, or wherever you have forgotten because of the time trap, because of all the pain, because of all the wrong people you have collected, so many karmic cycles, loops. So what happens is, before I end this channeling, I would like to tell you how this works. So basically, this is a very scientific procedure, and that's how scientifically we can change it. So what happens is that when you're not in the state of focused attention, you will become a fearful person, and the fears are equally a vibration, just the way love is. So love is a vibration and fear is a vibration. So the more, and fear comes from trauma. So when you're on planet Earth, the way your journey has been, you have been given soul shocks. Those soul shocks were given to you so that you create that karmic contract, you work on the contract, and then you have to eventually heal the contract. The soul shocks you're getting now, they are a result because your divine masculine appeared in your life when you started figuring out about the inner work, about the inner world. Okay, so he is also giving you soul shocks, but these soul shocks are going to wake you up, bring you out from the victim mentality, from the person who is going through something, and changing you into a person who is witnessing everything, making you the observer of your own reality. Alright, so that's what you're here to do, and that's why you have to heal the wounds, so that you as a person, you stop thinking that you're the doer. When you stop thinking you're the doer, when the doership goes away, the baggage that you carry as I, me, myself, that I am doing this, I'm the one doing this, I'm blah, 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 that baggage is taken away by the actual doer, which is the source. You give the doership to the source and you become just a witness. That's it. I know it sounds very simple. I make it sound very simple, but it's not impossible. And there is a movie actually that I really like. It's called Bawarchi. It's in Hindi and it's an old movie. It was released in 1972, which is about a man who becomes a cook, not even a chef, a cook who cooks in other people's houses, who was a professor. But he did inner work, and after doing inner work, after finding the treasure within, he found out that, his real calling is to fix people's homes. All those places which don't have peace, all those places where the families are broken or they need mending, they need true love. He would go into their houses posing as a cook. And during his stay in the house, one by one, he would fix all of the people. Not fix like in a negative way, but fix as in fix all the problems and make their home a real home, a home where true love actually exists, not like how it happens in the materialistic worldly way. So there was a very nice dialogue in that movie, which I really, really love. The dialogue is like, it is so simple to be happy, but so difficult to be simple. It is so simple to be happy, but so difficult to be simple. So this journey is about finding the simplicity, because nature is very simple. And when you find that simplicity in you, in your nature, then you will become a true, authentic person. There is no problem in becoming who you are and acting that out, because then it's not the doer is not you. It's all inspired action. You're just the witness. Even when you talk to people, even when you react, and I don't tell people don't be angry, don't do this, don't do that, because I also, when I channel the teacher, the one who is very sweet and very loving, I found one thing was missing with her is the connection, the emotional connection with the children, because she's never been a badass. It's like she's always been sweet, nice, but know that even sweet and nice people have to be badass when it's required. And because of that attitude, because of that one missing link, she cannot connect with people, with the students in different way. Like she's treating all of them in the same way. So not every child can be treated in the same way. And this has to be seen in a positive manner. It cannot be seen in a negative manner. It has to be seen in the way that it should be applied to. So now that I am concluding this channeling, I want to just cover up the points that yes, it's very important to be a badass also. It's something that my own guru also taught me, because probably he saw that in me as well. That being too nice can be a big problem too. You should never be too nice. Otherwise, people will eat you up. Okay? They will eat you up. They will take you for a ride. They will take you for granted. So you have to be in balance. When it's required to be stern, disciplined, have boundaries, show people that they do not exist or belong in your periphery of things, where they disrespect you or take you for granted. You have to do it. And when you have to be nice, because people who deserve goodness, only they deserve goodness and kindness. Not everyone. Because there are many people on this planet who have done many bad things and many bad karmas to others. When you are going to be nice to them and you cannot differentiate between the real and fake people, then you give them the leeway, the leverage, the opportunity to be mean to others, to continue to be what they are. That's why this kind of deciphering is very much required. And that's why you also have to decipher from gender, from sexuality, from age, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes a very young person can be extremely wise, like at 17, 16, 14 even, 20, there are certain divine feminines, they are very wise. Not to say that the ones who are at 50, 60 are not wise. But then I'm talking about deciphering. And I'm also saying this because there are many people on this planet who play the victim card on purpose. They play the woman card, the victim card, the old age card, all of these different cards they play to perform sins, to perform bad activities, to hurt other people. That's why we need to know who are these people, not go by the faces and the words, but go by the vibes. So, what are the issues that actually brought separation, the wounds that brought separation between the DM and the DF? Basically, they start from the womb. So, there are wounds in the womb, there are wounds between the age of 0 to 3, where the child is with the immediate parents, the mother, father, grandparents, siblings, relatives, all those people. Then we have the wounds that come between the age of 3 and 7. And after 7, that whole cycle gets complete. And then starts the adolescence wounds. Then there are sexual wounds. There are sexual identity wounds. Like someone could be a lesbian, born as a lesbian or born gay, but they're treated in such a bad way that their soul, it's in pain because they just want to be who they are. If they are attracted towards women, towards same sex, I mean, they are born that way. Some of them are born that way. They are the natural, the real ones. And there are many who get converted because of the programming. Those are different cases. There are different cases, but I'm talking about the treatment and the wounds. Then there are also wounds which are because of the narcissistic template, very difficult wounds. Then there are wounds of comparison, constant comparison with siblings, with neighbors, with other kids. And in some cases, the wounds are so bad that a child who's a brilliant child or a genius, maybe a prodigy, maybe an artistic kid, maybe good in music, they try to dumb down their gifts and they try to be like those who don't have much gifts, but they're getting more love from the parents. Not that there is something wrong in other kids, but the only thing is that they feel that maybe I'm not being given love and attention because I have these extra talents, and they don't see it like a talent, they see it like a problem. They see it like as if it is attracting unwanted attention and taking away people who they love. That's the sound of the conch in the background, if you can hear it. And then we have the spiritual wounds, which again are caused because of the image issues. Like what a lot of people do is, beautiful, isn't it? They create a fake image. They create like a fake image of a spiritual person. They would dress up in a way that a spiritual person should. Even that is a label in my opinion, because I'm a spiritual person and I don't dress up in any way, like that makes me stand out as a spiritual person. In fact, I dress up like normal, like how I've been dressing up since I was raised on this planet, the same type of clothes. So, but what some people do is that they use this spiritual image or a religious image to be liked by other people or to fit in, or just for their own, malefic intentions. They use this image to hurt others, to harm others, because it becomes easier for them to do all these evil acts in a particular image, like image of a politician, image of a teacher, as I said, image of a spiritual man, a priest or a priestess, or blah, blah, blah. So they create these images, and children who are raised in such atmospheres, who get abused by them, they kind of get a wound in spiritual way, and these are also very difficult wounds. I have spoken in detail about the narcissistic template, but I think I would be talking about this also because it could also be present in the DM's template. But then since we are healing the DF first and the DM would come later, that's why I'm more focused into this. So these spiritual wounds, what they do is they stop a person from doing inner work. They stop a person from reading these texts, these sacred texts and these books, and following a path of inner work and spirituality, because they met some of those people in their childhood who were acting to be spiritual, but they were actually quite evil, and some of them were also demonic in nature. So that's why the wounds have to be cleared so that you can, focus on your inner work smoothly. So then there are gender wounds wherein, your family treated you differently because you're a girl child and your brother was given more love. And this again doesn't just happen in Indian subcontinent. It happens in many, many places in different parts of the world. Just the way, these mother-in-law and daughter-in-law fights are an international problem. They're not just specific to one continent. Same way, these gender wounds, these sexual orientation wounds, these wounds of adolescence and sexual wounds, spiritual wounds, these wounds are present everywhere. And more so, I think the spiritual wounds are in India, because in India is a very spiritual country, but in past few years, a lot of people have been pretending to be spiritual just for business sake or just for image sake, but they're actually not spiritual. So all of these wounds need to go away so that we can not just be happy, but also be simple. So on that note, I'm going to end this lovely channeling. And yes, one love and peace out.